Patreon member shout out. I'm trying to sleep. I lost count of sheep. My mind is racing faster every minute. What could I do more? Yeah, I'm really not sure. I don't want to run in circles, but I can't quit. And I'm so confused. I've got a lot to do. Sometimes I wanna. Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez. I'm coming at you today with a Vivi OMI update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love you all. I would say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. And comment down below if you like Goldfinger. Also, commenting, liking, and subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon or smashing that thanks button down below. So today was an extraordinarily good day for OMI, up over 10% compared to Bitcoin's up not even 1% today. So it did 10x outperforming Bitcoin, which I thought was pretty amazing. So also this does come on a day where 1 year ago today, we had gone up 133%. I'm sorry, I take that back. 137%. So the doubling in one day is something that we have done before. Is it something that we're going to do again? Maybe, maybe not, but I'm just saying something like that does happen. This does come on a day when we did have only $1.2 million in volume, so not a ton. I think we have had up to 15 or even almost 20 million in volume in one day at one point when there's big stuff like Marvel, Disney, other things are announced. And we are at San Diego Comic-Con next month, so we will probably have a couple of big things announced. Comic-Con is generally where you have big announcements. Moving on. Speaking of things mooning, we had a couple of things almost double today, as far as whether it was Todd, Superman that went up a lot. Todd went up to 4K at one point. Things have calmed down a little bit. Todd was down to 3,700. Superman was up over 2K, down to 1,800. But again, these did really have a pump before they had a little bit of a pullback, which is expected. If you go up 90% and then come down 15%, a lot of people tend to just focus on the 15%. But again, you do have to realize what they are at the end of the day. A lot of them are up. People were waking up today, their vaults were up 40, 50K. It's been nuts, which is inspiring a lot of confidence in the markets, especially people, most notably whales, that have gotten in around the time of VCon. And so about a month ago, maybe even a little less, suddenly their stuff has doubled or almost doubled. And then what do you have? You have people that's confidence is really good. People that have a lot of whale money is going to go into this. And I don't think it's going to stop. I think that will continue trickling in over the next couple of months. And that is just whale money, not including the mass adoption that I believe we're going to start to get. So moving on. So I do answer every question on YouTube. I answer every single comment, whether it's something in a live stream that I do on my own, or it's just a comment on my videos. But this one, I think, does have to be addressed in this type of setting as well for everyone else to see. Somebody asked, honest question with respect, how do we know these OMI whales aren't sending you out to find someone to buy their OMI, and then the new buyer will end up holding their bags? Both versions of reality would look exactly the same to an outside observer. Again, I will preface this by saying a lot of people are just kind of in their own fishbowl and can't imagine other people spending, let's just say, tens of thousands, much less hundreds of thousands like I have, or millions like other people have, or tens of millions, and that's just in this type of scenario. There are people that buy art for 9 figures, which is $100 million. There are people that I talked to in the Hamptons yesterday at that crazy private meeting that had billions of dollars of capital. Billions that were ready to be deployed, especially now in a bear market where the things that they love tend to be cheap. Is all of that going to come to Vivi? Not from that one person. That one person probably wouldn't spend their $3.4 billion all on OMI and all on Vivi. I don't think that was OMI at like a less than a $400 million market cap. Okay, there goes 400 million, and then what do you Vivi? Maybe about the same, maybe something similar. I think a lot of those things, it's kind of unrealistic to expect, which I did see a lot of hype, like billions coming in. Billions will probably come in, but not just from one person. That will probably come in when we have 10 and 20 million people, which could it be next year? Probably. I do expect them to start doing some type of marketing after they have the KYC all rolled out, MTL all rolled out. And then I think they can do marketing before OMI utility, but it could be happening at the same time. And remember, outside of this week where we had like 5 Spider-Man comic books, most times we only have 4 drops per week. I guarantee you by the end of the year, there is one day will happen, kind of like that meme. One day you and your friends went riding bikes for the last time together and none of you knew it. One day we are going to have one last day with no drops. And then we won't. Every single day will have minimum of 1 drop at some point. You heard it here first. So getting back to this question, it's that for the most part, if you're a whale, you really don't need to sell, especially down here. A lot of whales that I know and advise are just still consistently accumulating. Speaking of whales, the big one, David Yu had retweeted a question by Crypto Far West, who says, let's make a DC Comics x Vivi poll, saying, do you want DC Comics, or the actual comic books, to be dropped as an NFT on Vivi, asking for a friend? And of course, everyone commented yes, except for the people that were trolling that said, or they just said common yes. It was all yeses. And David Yu had retweeted it. The big whale himself that knows multiple big whales, that have people waiting in the wings, had retweeted that. I think that's a little bit of a tease, saying that we might get DC Comics on here at some point. Could you imagine getting Action Comics #1 or many of the other fantastic DC ones that are out there? That would just further solidify us as #1. So moving on, Rewind Collective says, we will be releasing Pride 2 in collaboration with Givenchy Beauty, honoring LGBTQIA+ rights around the world on Wednesday the 29th of June on Vivi Official. They have a bunch of hashtags in there, but that should be at, I think, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means that we should have another one at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on that day. Granola Warfare, who is a senior mod over on the Discord, had tweeted, calling all collectors, Vivi fam rejoice, the Vivi web app is now in open beta for all users. To log in into your collection account via web app, please visit https, basically app.vivi.me. If you go there, app.vivi.me, that should be the beta browser for all users. Thank you for being part of the Vivi family. And everyone says, how do you do? So moving on here, we did have a couple of people buy a couple of crazy things. We have CK Alpha reporting someone just swept the resale floor. Watch the listings go from 38 to 31 in minutes. And then Winnie the Pooh has gone from $150 to $300. That had doubled. Speaking of which, I do have a buddy of mine that does have the number 41 Winnie the Pooh. He is looking to go and liquidate and buy other things. Maybe get some OMI, not 100% sure. But that one, just comment down below if you want that one and what you'd be willing to pay for it. We had Robbie Ferguson of Immutable X, who's, they're still hiring. And this person needs the biggest of bonuses, the biggest of raises, saying that NFT NYC recap by the numbers, there was 300 at their party, where over 75% of those 300 people were game developers and builders, and then there was 100 meetings with games, so other games that they have yet to sign on, as if they don't have enough games on there already, that will continue to sign on because they're the new kid on the block that everyone wants to be with, whether it's Vivi, Recur, Gods Unchained, Marvel and Disney, etc. And 25 immutable people in attendance, mostly partnerships. BizDev was a success. We're rapidly building one of the largest BD success teams in Web3 to help games thrive on Layer 2, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be successful, dare I say. We did have Bitcoin Magazine that says, just in, Binance CEO of the US says 70% of our volume comes from institutions. So, meaning that it's not just everyday people like you and me or Dashi going and buying Bitcoin. It is people from institutions, and at some point, if they're not already, they're definitely buying Ethereum already. But I do see them going on maybe Cardano, and they maybe buy Binance. And if they're going to want the only crypto associated with Disney, probably going to get OMI as well. Again, just happens to be a little tease of the future, I believe. Moving on, Sam Ellis says, now that the Vivi web app has been rolled out to everyone, getting liquidity in the ecosystem has become easier for people outside the US. We get a fair exchange rate. This is massive. This alone will create more consumer confidence, leveling out the game. And I agree. So we do have this guy named Jason Rindal, who has, I think, like 4,000 followers on Twitter, saying that he expects a lot of people, a lot of institutions to come in, like hedge funds, and to buy a bunch of these NFTs. And they're not going to buy just one. He says that the 413 common Vaders from this morning, average price of $250 is $103,000. 422 uncommon Vaders at 200 is $84,000, and 339 ultra rare Vaders at the average price of $3,000 is over $1 million. So you do have $1.2 million for the entire thing. Even if the price is doubled from all of the examples that I just said, it would only be $2.4 million. And guess what? Hedge funds will buy all of it, because $2.4 million is peanuts to those type of hedge funds. Why? Because they will set the price. They will say a Vader common is worth $1,000, an uncommon is worth $1,500, and an ultra rare is worth $20,000, and then market and then sell it. It wouldn't cost too much to go on a YouTuber's page and be like, hey, Anyone that'll listen, if you have, just put an ad, say like, hey, I think this is worth $20,000, and somebody somewhere is going to say, yeah, sure, I'll do it. They'll give them a Vader as payment or whatever they do, and then suddenly, boom, 20K. Anyway, guys, is that a little bit more of a cynical thing? Sure, absolutely, but you can't tell me that it won't happen. They will do that on one. They will rinse and repeat. They'll do that to Superman. They'll do that to Alligator Loki. That is the big fear that I had with Alligator Loki. That's why I went and bought up 18 of them. That's why I have a bunch of friends, and 24% of those Alligator Lokis, that does include number 1 through 40, they are locked up, and they are not going anywhere for a long old time. I did go on my channel. I did have a 3-hour podcast with Foster Hilt. That was really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. We talked about OMI. We talked about Feesh. We talked about a lot of things. Speaking of Feesh, CEO Brockman Blockchain says it'd be wild if OpenSea, as big as it sounds right now, is just the Craigslist of Web3. Again, just because it was first doesn't mean it was best. It had that first to market, which gave it a lot of pull, but I do believe Vivi's marketplace, or that being interoperable with Immutable X marketplace, Coinbase NFT, GameStop NFT, I believe that could be the place to go to get NFTs. So somebody comments that that's a very good comparison. You might be right in a few years. Brockman Blockchain says a lot can happen in 27 years. I guess that's how old Craigslist is. So moving on. Crypto Squad posted that in an email, he said, Vivi, let's get verified. From an email saying, in the coming days, your account will be whitelisted for KYC. What is KYC? It's Know Your Customer. Our standards designed to protect against fraud, corruption, money laundering, and terrorist financing. Getting verified on Vivi is a first step to MTL. So one more with the fishbowl analogy. We have somebody, I won't say their name, saying everything is getting gobbled up by a handful of whales who are controlling the Vivi market. I don't know if there's any proof of that, but he continues on to say this isn't good, to be honest, and I personally don't see, even with mass adoption, people paying these prices. I've seen this in Pokemon before. I've seen this in other collectibles. People get attached to the prices that they were used to as the price goes up because more people get in. They say, oh, there's millionaires in here. There's whales. Okay, millionaires and billionaires are here already. They are here, and some are deploying capital. Some aren't. Some are waiting for that full-out MTL, but a lot of people are feeling a lot more confident in doing this. Let's just say Donnie. Yeah, it's only for the super rich. Okay, sure. But there's more than 150 people that are going to want him. I think most people probably don't want Donnie. Most people probably could give two poops about Donnie, but 150 people will. Even if you think that most of the world would not pay $5,000 or $10,000 for a Superman, there's 8,888 people that absolutely will. No heckin' question. The first Superman on the blockchain. So why do I say this? Because it comes from somebody that, for whatever reason, I think is kind of protecting themselves, trying to think that, oh, hey, it's not good that whales get this and money goes to money. It doesn't have to be whales. It could just be somebody with an extra job that decides to work an extra 8 hours a week for 10 weeks or do whatever, and they earn exactly what they get. It's not just whales. It's everyday people that are going to be doing this. I know because I was one of those people in Pokemon, and they will be rewarded because I was. So has been teased that other executives do watch these videos. So Nat Geo, if you're there, we have from Tron Skywalker saying National Geographic Shark Fest starts on July 6th, and we should get a shark NFT on the 4th of July or maybe a US stamp. But I totally agree. We should probably ask Nat Geo, because Disney owns National Geographic. They should probably convince them, say, hey, Nat Geo, it would behoove you to drop something for Shark Week. I think that'd be really cool. Megalodon or some type of shark, Jaws, I think it would be really dope. Comment down below if you want one of those. Vivi Digital Collectibles has posted, if you have access to the web beta, please be advised that this drop should only be attempted on the mobile app. They're talking about Stitch. As with any beta, there may still be various inconsistencies that continue to be in development. Thank you for understanding. And again, this was for the Stitch drop. David Yu had retweeted saying, first appearance, low edition. He really does like it. And Reese commenting, just laughing. He's just such a bro. Speaking of Stitch, allears.net or at allearsnet, it's like Stitch fans, you'll want to see this. Alert, Disney is releasing new Stitch NFTs, and they do link to the Medium article. And in case you don't know, allears.net has about 100,000 or 105,000 followers on the Twitter, so very, very good for them. And speaking of followers, when I had mentioned Nat Geo before, or when I saw that comment, I wasn't 100% going to post that, but then I took a look on National Geographic's Instagram, or Nat Geo, they are verified, and for good reason. They have 229 million followers. Disney only has 9 million followers over on the Twitter, and a lot of us do get really pigeonholed. Whatever the name is, we do really get focused on Twitter because that's where most of us are on. But on Instagram, yeah, there's some people that are maybe a little older. There's some people that, that are on there that maybe don't like NFTs. But all Disney needs to do is go say, hey, Nat Geo, we own you. We literally own you. Can you please do this for us? And that suddenly goes to 229 million people. And even if 0.1% of them happen to go, okay, that's still 200,000 people to come to the app. I think it's relatively safe to say that we're going to go to the moon. Not financial advice. Brock McBlockchain has tweeted that listening to @RealRandy Chavez and Foster Hilt talk about a Kryptons game actually gave me some ideas. A cool mystery game where you ran around the woods trying to find X Krypton or X Krypton, whichever one. And if you had the Vivi NFTs, you got supplies to help. When interoperability. And we have Wendy saying that she would love that game. I should be on her podcast tomorrow. We're going to have a panel going on about about what NFT NYC was like. Squidcat says, I missed that part, just tweeted asking why I should hold that set. This answers it, and Brock McBlockchain says he's not saying he's going to make this game. Says, but an asymmetrical multiplayer game hunting down a Krypton that uses Vivi NFTs, imagine holding the whole set so it buries something to help. If your whole team has it, then there's an advantage to find it. If the Krypton lasts, they win X. I thought that would be pretty dope. And Brock McBlockchain tweets again saying, of course, the final boss would be a Midnight Chupacabra. That is something that we do not have yet, and I cannot heckin' wait for it. Gary O, who's on my fridge, says, Vivi is having some crazy ROIs as we speak. Potential tidal wave of new investors is wanting in on these returns while crypto is in the toilet. And we had someone say, Gary, 17 days ago, there were 161 people with more collectibles than him. Since then, he's added 125 new items, and there are now 227 people with more items than he is. He thinks that is a great sign, and I think that is a great sign as well. Comment down below how many collectibles you have. And everyone, please check out @HeyDavidDon, @KingMavsForever over on Twitter, Standoff Chart and King Mavs over on the Vivi app, Kobe Collects and OMI Player One over on the YouTube, Raythex.eth domain name, Kyle Willson, Wendy Stibalis, Puddin' Cheeks, Vivi Las Vegas, Taps Trades, Mars Davis, Legacy Bermuda, Sody Pop Media, Vivi Darklink, Metal Lemon, and Vivi Vibes, all on the YouTube, @Nomad with Guitar, @WetWizard Vivi, and Gary O @1234CA3, all on the Twitter. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashy. Bye-bye, Dashy, and comment down below if you like my Bebet 8 oatmeal shirt. It's from Gilmore Girls. I love it. All right, goodbye. Meow, 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 meow.